dump a little bit in next week.
All right. And we are live. So the usual safety checks then before you share screen. Have you closed all the pornography down? I know it's not even breakfast time yet, but you know.
I know. It's one of those things, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So just a quick note. Welcome everybody. Welcome. So Scott is still in Australia. He's not here to hurt me, so I can say anything I like about him. He won't be here today because I think he's eaten too many Aussie steak pies.
Yeah, he was enjoying the pies, man. I know he like, yeah.
Hey, sorry, Scott. Yeah, so Scott's not with us today. I might not be with us next week if he watches the replay of that. So so before we get into the market, then, right? I was trying to think, how could you sort of sum up the market in the way that like Scott would sum it up? And the place that I got to is this week, and this is the deep technical analysis coming. This week, I actually gave a bit of a fuck for what was going on.
Fair
Whereas
enough.
months and months and months, it's been like, oh,
Of
it's
course. Yeah.
like Tony Soprano's mother, like just take me. I've had enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, things are starting to just, shape up a little bit. And that's the reality of this game. It's like when we put out the video for what was the name of that bot, the Trojan bot on Telegram.
Mm-hmm.
When we
Mm-hmm.
put out that video, I set my Retardio up for something like a 30-day period. So I set up the limit orders and I put 30 days on it, thinking, yeah, I won't have to worry about that too much. Well, that 30 days came and went. And that will have happened to a lot of people that just fall asleep during when the market is boring like this. You just don't want to do anything. It's just too hard. It's like, oh God, that's part of the game. So a huge congratulations to you, Maurizio, for these daily videos that you put out, because that's the true professionalism of this game. I think just personified right there in those videos. You turn up and you think to yourself, well, you know what? I'd really rather be anywhere than looking at this chart. You know what I mean? Today's update is nothing's happening. So I say this week, I actually gave a bit of a fuck,
Mm.
which is a huge change in mood, sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
So let me first of all babble on about this. So we're actually going to start. This is Bitcoin dominance, right?
Mm.
Now, if we look at these green circles, right? That's the 1st of September 2020. This one here is June 19. This one back here is October 17. And the reason that I've highlighted them, now I realize that this is on the monthly and we're not at the end of the month. I think if I was to switch to the weekly, we may well have a close. We've breached this area again. So we're now in a place with Bitcoin dominance that we haven't been in for a long time. A
Mm-hmm.
long time. And what tends to happen historically when we get to this region? Bitcoin dominance tends to take off. Or how would Scott put it? Bitcoin becomes the hottest girl on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the effect of Bitcoin dominance? Well, I think it's kind of in the name, and it does literally become the hottest girl on campus. So it will take money from altcoins. Because now altcoins will follow, and we'll have a look at the altcoin market cap. They will follow, but whilst Bitcoin is just everybody's going to fall in love with Bitcoin because there's people that just want to follow Bitcoin. It's moving. Buy.
Mm.
Emotions. And then when we get a pullback, bang, that's when the altcoins can go absolutely crazy, which is the very basics of Bitcoin dominance. So this is the first, and just interrupt me at any time, Maurizio.
No, that's cool, man. It's good that you talk about that because I might mention something about the whole altcoins ecosystem, which it could impact the next bull run, positively and negatively, right? So obviously, as traders, we need to keep both sides in the spectrum, right? We need to be open to the bull run, but we need to be open to the opposite of it, right? Can that happen? Of course, right? Definitely. So yeah, but that's going to, I'm going to talk about it a little bit in terms of, and that dominance is very important to understand why.
Is now let's have a look at this total market cap. Let's have a look at it on the weekly. Here we are. So I've drawn a line. I don't try and draw too many lines, but I've drawn a line here, right? Drawn a line down there. Now, if you look at that line and you look at what price action's doing, now the guys that have done the safe leverage trading course, or the bootcamp leverage trading course, they will be all over this like a fat kid on a Snickers. Thanks, Scott, because this is a breakout situation, right? And remember Scott things, right? One of the genius things with Scott is these heuristics that he pumps out all the time. If you just keep listening to the heuristics, eventually you will get this stuff, right? So think of his expression, same turd, but wrapped in a different glitter, right? How many altcoins right now does the chart look exactly like this? And they are preparing for a breakout. Well, guess what happens? If this breaks out of this pattern, all those other altcoins that are sat in a pattern like this, they're all going to break out as well. And that is one piece of information that we can take from this altcoin market cap. We can say, oh yeah, when we get to here, it's on, and when we get to there, and the resistance and everything like that. But we got Bitcoin dominance going up. We got the interest in Bitcoin that's going up like this. And then I made the other gesture saying that altcoins would then follow it, but they wouldn't challenge for it. Well, this is how they follow it, with this type of breakout. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean that every altcoin is going to go crazy. I'm specifically saying if you are trading breakouts and you look for coins, or you've been following coins, or as Simon Spall, who was with us from the very start, said, if you're stalking a trade, then hey, I would be looking for breakout trades at the moment. Now let's just have a quick look at the mighty corn itself. So there's a few interesting things that are going on with the corn at the moment. Let's get this on the monthly here. I want it as easy as possible. Yeah, so first of all, look at the monthly. Look at where we are headed for a close here. So we come up here, then we may turn it into support. We come and test this support, but we don't breach it. So in short, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we're about to reclaim it on the 7th month back into this range. So that's point number 1 that makes me pretty excited. And point number 2 is the retest on the weekly. Okay. So we've all been looking at this chart for a long time and what it does. And now we've had a breakout back into this region. And now we need to retest this region and reclaim it. Retest and reclaim it. We retest it and then we reclaim it. And what does that do? That sets us up for the next move. Okay. I won't go any deeper than that. But look, what's really interesting is, oops. these loosely drawn boxes here, let me just so I can make this a little bit bigger. These just show clustering of price action that Bitcoin has done above or below, you know, what I call roughly the middle of this range. Even though it's technically not quite in the middle, but just live with it for the moment. So the point being, we have this clustering action that repeats. We have a cluster, and then we make an attempt to get to this centerpiece. We have a cluster, we have an attempt. And then if we do get past that center line, we then have another cluster where we try and attempt to break through the top of the range. So if we look at this latest cluster now, and I've got that crosshair, so if you look here as well, you can see this cluster here is a retesting cluster. So whilst the daily chart is absolutely brilliant, and you can look at this, and people that have done the boot camp or people that listen to Scott would just look at that on the daily and they go, right, lowest low in 10 bars, higher close, lower close. We've got our sell signal, bang, we're away. Yep, that's one way that you can do it. Another piece of information you can look at is what is actually happening with this price action on the daily. What's happening on the higher time frames? So this clustering here is now getting us into the retest and reclaim area. So we might see however many days of clustering, however many days that price might just move along sideways whilst we reclaim this level. And then once we've reclaimed it, I mean, there's 8 days left of the month. This might play out over the next 8 days. And it might be that we get that end of the month close, and then we break past this line, and then we're set up for October to shoot. Or we might get up to this line here, and then we might reject, as we've done before. If the Scott mentality, what percentages would you put on this? Well, I'm going to say never again am I going to say 100%.
I was going to ask you the same thing.
So
before you give your percentages, let's ask people what they think about it.
Yeah.
You know, let's because I just want to do a poll here in terms of how do you guys feel about the market right now, and if you've been following the market or not, how excited do you feel, or how apathetic do you feel about the market right now? Give me give me a chat here. So chat says excited, and who else? Come on. Optimistic, fair enough. So cautious. All right.
Asking the audience.
There you go. So I think so Jason says, I think we go down one more to 51K before the banana mode. Yeah, we're playing this banana thing. Have you guys heard about the banana sort of zone or whatever they call it in crypto, right? We'll talk about that, but
banana zone.
Thought concerning
bizarre, isn't there? You know? I think things are going well. You mean you don't know about the banana zone? Fucking hell, mate.
Man, we'll go a little bit in depth on that because I have my views of it. So yeah, as you can see, some of you guys have actually, have the excitement sort of is coming in, right? Some people are cautious, some people, that's how the market. So, Ian, what's your percentages here?
All right, so let's go with the crowd first of all then. So what does everybody think as a percentage that the price will, let's say before the end of the month, price will make an attempt at this 67,000 level? So yeah, Chad, I'm with you. 90%. I would probably even go as high as 95%. Yeah, okay. Then the next percentage is, well, actually, there's 2 percentages here. So the first percentage is, let's say that we get up to this line. So the first percentage is, what percentage do you think that we just quickly reject and then drop below it. So rather than even just moving along sidewards, we touch this blue line like we did here, and then bang, we come straight back down. Somebody without a name put 15, and I'm probably somewhere around that. I'm not thinking it would be a volatile retest. And I think that that is the key word, because we can retest or we can have a volatile retest. And I don't think, so I'm going to put 20% that we have a volatile retest, 80% that we just have a standard retest that sets ourselves then up for a move to the top of the range. So the next percentage then is, and I'm going to say 70%. And the question is, we've retested and reclaimed the center of the range. What percent do you think that in October will reach the top of the range?
99%.
Yeah.
Seriously? Wow, that's a high number, Jason.
Nice. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now there was the last thing from me, because I've got to be very, very careful not to play like macro games, or thinking that I'm smarter than the Fed and everything like that. That's something that's really been slapped out of me. But so Tim, you've mentioned the elections a couple of times, and I agree with you, but they're only one thing. Like, crypto doesn't hang on the outcome of the election at all. Like the Fed have cut by a huge amount. Like that half that they've cut is huge, right? Now it's huge because generally, when you're cutting rates, and I put a post in this about global liquidity in the group, if you're cutting rates so aggressively like that, what you're effectively doing is you're signaling to everybody that a recession is coming, right? And just if they were to slash the rates to 1% tomorrow, that wouldn't be better for Bitcoin. It would be better if we just come down in the normal kind of incremental ways. But the reduction of the rates itself, it's not like a big we're off type of catalyst. One of the ultimate catalyst for Bitcoin is when it gets in under the conditions that it was created for. And Bitcoin was created as a hedge against the debasement of fiat currency, which basically means the money printers turn on, but not just the American money printers, not just the American election. The Chinese need to turn on their money printers. The Japanese need to turn on their money printers. And we need to get that influx of global liquidity. So yeah, we've got the elections. Crypto's a winner either way. It's just that there'll be a difference in the taxes, and there'll be, different type of regulation under the two different administrations. We've got the rate cuts and what they could lead to with the global liquidity. And then we've got the price action that we've been looking at today with the Bitcoin dominance. And then we've also got these wars that are ramping up a little bit, well, because, war is good for markets. Indecision about war is not so good for markets. So the more full on that the wars get, the clearer that the picture is. And then all of these things, of course, are generally already priced in. Like this recent rate cut, like I know there was a lot of excitement around it, but the market had already priced it in. And what that means is that, yeah, you get a positive reaction, but you don't get a we're off to the chiwiwis, that we're off to the that's an MMA thing if anybody watches MMA. All right.
Right. So
Well, that's
yeah,
the
no,
end of that's the end of my fucking bullshit. So now I'll hand it over to somebody that knows what they're talking about.
no, not really. But anyway, okay, no, but that's good, mate. I think it's yeah, very exciting. Things are shifting. However, obviously, I'm with Todd. A little bit cautious as always. You know what I mean? Crypto's crypto. However, you can actually start seeing that we start having some breakouts in terms of things that are aiming to lead. If we have a bull run, thinking from the perspective that are going to be a narrative that actually will follow up, it's going to lead the way. And obviously, what we're trying to achieve is actually be on those narratives. You know, in a bull run, everything is going to go up more than likely, but not necessarily everything, which is one of the things that we need to be aware of. So, but also we need to be aware of all the different stuff. So let me just go through what I see in terms of the weekly stuff. So, and we'll go through some of the positions. So, but let's go through this first. So we'll
Yeah.
go through. All right. Let's start with total three. So this is the weekly chart, and I just want you to in the chat just point out what do you see from this perspective. Do you see a full bullish pattern? Do you see a full bearish pattern? What do you see here that it could happen? This is the total three excluding the USDT, BTC, and because I want to show you something quite interesting that it might happen in the next couple of weeks. Bull flag waiting for breakout. Yes. Yep. 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 Upward channel. Yes, in a way. Sideways in a range. Yes. All right. So here's what I kind of see. I'm looking at the weekly, and I'm going to give you my two perspectives from the weekly to the daily. So there's two different types of trading that you should be thinking about. Long term, and medium term, or even short, really, really short term, when we actually do scalps or things like that. And each one becomes with different sort of time frames, right? Because if you look this total tree from the weekly perspective, I'm still seeing a small bearish pattern, right, in a way, but it's actually winding down. So you can actually see the liquidity sort of start shrinking, and that usually reacts into a resolution, either to the upside or to the downside. Which one it is? Hopefully to the upside, right? But that's from the weekly perspective. So the fact that it's not closing above this, it means that the liquidity is not there yet. Yet. Can this break tomorrow? Yes, definitely. Can this come back? Yes, definitely. So in terms of the weekly, we're still cautiously optimistic in a way because obviously it's looking that it wants to go. However, if you look at the volatility aspect, it's quite high. Usually when things break to the upside is when the liquidity comes down. The volatility comes down. So if we have a look at the daily though, and this is sort of what I want to highlight. Sorry, that's the 3 days and the daily. And the way that things start shifting. So same chart, but now you can start seeing this sort of pattern that if we break above here, things, meaning bulls, will take over in a way. And the fact that he sort of wanted to go, have so many people buying alts at these points, you can actually see people willing to buy alts, even with Bitcoin being at a level that it was, then that's a good thing for alts in general. However, all alts are going to go the same way. I don't think so, but we'll go through a bunch of stuff that I'm watching. And so yeah, that's my view in terms of the total trade. Let's have a look at the same thing on Bitcoin. Let's go into the weekly and let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I honestly wanted for this weekly candle to close about the 64 level, like the 64,500 level. I've been talking about this level for a while for the whole week, and you can see how interesting these levels, especially on the weekly, they'll play out, right? Because they sort of wait for traders to see if they are selling or buying at a really good price. So it tends to, those weekly levels tend to actually be very important in a way. So it is right there. I definitely we start taking some leverage trades, because you start feeling that this might be the case. If you see that Bitcoin start breaking up above, then essentially we more than likely will be the bottom. But then, yeah, we do have the election, which is going to be volatile, right? I think it's definitely going to be volatility around the election. And I'm going to be talking about something that's going to happen in Q4 that a lot of people are waiting for, which is going to be positive, but it might not be as positive for the market. So that's my take in Bitcoin. So far, so good. Let me show you Ethereum though. Ethereum now is sort of claiming back this level. This is the sell-off level, like, and now from the weekly perspective, it's start claiming back. How interesting these levels are. So yeah, it is. You can actually see that it went back, went down, and now it's sort of holding. So ideally, if this holds, is going to trigger a lot of more price action to the upside in terms of everything, right? I was very, I'm very interested in Sol versus ETH chart. Been doing the videos over the week around it, and the fact is, there might be some transitioning between Sol and ETH. You can actually see that Sol is actually topping out here. So I'm closing this. I'm having a really close attention to this chart, because if you start seeing a breakout, Solana will take the race again in this. But if this starts coming down here, then ETH will be a really good play. So anything on the ETH ecosystem could be really good, including ETH itself. But then if it's break to the upside, then Solana ecosystem will be the best play. So I'm paying a really close attention to this chart to see what is going to do, in order to see which one of these ones are actually worth to hold the most. Right? So that's kind of the play. So yeah, that's in essence that's in essence what I've seen in terms of the whole market. But I want to show you something quite interesting that you can actually get on Coinalyze. So if we go to Coinalyze, right? Been watching this for a while, which is if you go to Bitcoin aggregated funding the funding rate. So Coinalyze have something pretty cool, which is the aggregated funding rate global, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the way that let me just add it so you guys can watch this on your own as well. So you go to indicators and you say funding, and you go to the global. But the global is basically adding and aggregating all the funding rates across all altcoins. And if you take this one and then change it for the aggregated type, the coins category, they have different sort of indexes that they're tracking from the funding rate perspective. This is pretty helpful to see if people are bullish or bearish in whatever of these sort of markets. The one that I'm watching and the one that I'm going to show you is all excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Obviously, Solana is part of it. I would love to have a funding without the Solana thing, but this is close enough. And what I want to show you now is this is the daily chart, by the way, and let me just make this bigger. So, all right, so I just zooming in. Do you see now, like, whenever all these like huge bull runs come, is when roughly Bitcoin and Ethereum and the aggregated funding rate of all the alt ecosystem sort of goes negative, is when things are sort of start pumping up, right? Like huge. And every time that happened, look at this here, right here, and there is a good expectation that this could be a bullish run, right? Right here, you can actually see the same thing. Right here, bearish, resets, funding rate resets, and then bang, right? Now, where are we at? We still, even though it's exciting, I could be completely wrong, to be honest. But the fact that we do have volatility with elections and things like that, I'd be cautious, right? I'd be cautious. And there is flipping, like altcoins are flipping, funding rates are flipping. Looks like it start flipping on Bitcoin. So now we start seeing indications that bull run might start in the next couple of weeks, right? Yes, no, maybe, right? In terms Q4 is actually the best quarters. However, here's my take, and obviously it's I have to take both 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 aspects of the market. So think about it from the perspective that everybody knows that now Q4 is actually the best thing. Okay, everybody knows that. Now it's going to be. I'm going to do a list to show you in the next couple of weeks of all the projects that are going to be launched on Q4. It's going to be a massive amount of projects that are waiting to be launched. There's even a lot of projects that actually were delayed to be launched after Q4. Okay, so there's going to be a fight in terms of liquidity, right? And it's going to be a lot of tokens that actually get launched. If retail doesn't come in and people don't start buying, I think there will be a bunch of stuff that are never going to raise as high as we might be expecting. But liquidity might get concentrated in a few tokens and a few projects in a few narratives, and those are the ones that actually will change the narrative of the whole bull run market. So that might be the case. So I'm on it, in it. So yeah, so could you just give me 1 second? I just need to open it. Just give me 1 second, Ian. Could you please?
Absolutely.
1 second.
Yeah. I think this is one of those moments like from Pulp Fiction, you know. I think Maurizio maybe keeps a GIMP in a secure locker somewhere, and it could be, maybe not. Maybe it's just his dog quacking. This open interest stuff is really a hey, Maurizio.
Hey man, sorry. Yeah, my dog was just went nuts and had to sort of.
I actually accused you of keeping a GIMP like in Pulp Fiction.
All right. So yeah, so it's quite interesting in terms of how the market is coming in. It's going to be a lot of projects that are quite good as well, but obviously we need to keep track of the liquidity coming into the market, and if the liquidity is not there, maybe we need to be a little bit cautious. But everything looks pretty good, man. Like from my perspective, everything looks as it goes. Now, one of the big things that I'm watching in terms of Bitcoin is the 64 level, right? So this 64K is going to be a massive thing, right? So yeah, so from this perspective, I'll be definitely looking for a leverage place. So why? Because it looks like we cannot actually wait until this actually go ballistic to start getting leverage in a way. And that proves the point in terms of the trade. We go through some trades that we took already on leverage, and we already made some good profits. And I think I'm gonna go through the whole list of things that I'm watching for this week that might be really interesting to get into with leverage. So this is, I haven't talked about leverage for a while because it hasn't been good setups, good times, good things to actually do leverage pretty much all the time. But I think right now it might be really good to actually get into leverage. Then with saying that, please be aware that if you don't know how to do leverage, don't do it. Okay, it is a very simple way to get wrecked. It's very simple to actually lose all the money that you have in your account. What I do, I have different accounts. I have one for playing hard, which is the one that I use when I do leverage, and some of them are go stupidly high in leverage, but then you need to manage that correctly, otherwise. And if you don't have that, just do a spot and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like, so you can do the same trades with spot and then, be stress free, which you don't have to watch the markets. You don't have to, be completely. And I do my own spot backs as well, like that. So with that being said, let me go through first of all things that I'm watching closely. Where's my list? Give me 1 second. All right, here. So let's go through the trades that we took anyway. So let's go with Say first. I know some people were talking about Say and Sui and things like that. So let's go through where we at with that trade. And I think I already took some profits. I already put my stop loss, but we're gonna let's do a deep dive on this one. So this is Say, and if you watch the video why I took this trade, obviously I took it on the verge of why these two pairs get correlated. I didn't take Sui, but then if you miss the narrative of something, you can actually start playing out things that are actually very correlated to it, right? Because there's no point to actually get into here. Maybe it's going to be some things that will follow that price action of Sui, right? So that was the whole thesis behind getting into the Say with leverage. And we did fantastically well on this one. So this one is actually now up. Yeah, this one is not. It looks like it's not going to stop. So this is the one of, for if the guys from the leverage course here that were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. This is the waiting game, and this is the time that when things play out well, we basically took some profits around here or here. No, around here. Sorry, my bad. We took some profits around here. And then I move my stop loss here. And this could be a trade that if the bull run comes in, I'm going to keep banking and banking and banking and banking. So this is one of the greatest things about this type of trades. It doesn't happen all the time. It might happen like in the bull run, it might happen in the other way around that we can just short at some coins, and the same thing. You get advantage of this thing. But then, yeah, these things doesn't happen all the time. But I'll highlight a few ones that I'm looking at for this week that it might be very similar to this stuff. So yeah, that's where we are in terms of the Say trade. So for those ones that took that trade, congratulations, that's great. I'm glad. And I'm going to be talking about this one, the mantle trade. So two trades that I took. Same trade split in two. All right. With this one, with the 1 4 hours, I did send a signal over the last week. Took some profit around here. Now I move my stop loss around break even. So whatever happens with this one, I'm happy. The daily is working fantastically well. Why I manage different, because it's different amount of money that you play. According to your stop loss, you leverage your trades differently, right? So obviously I haven't done any with this one. I'm planning to actually start banking some profits around here. Same thing, moving the stop loss when you reach there, and then that's it. If this one continues on, and why on this one, I'm going to wait until this one plays out with the airdrops that are happening on the Mantle network, that I do think that this will appreciate the value a little bit higher. Okay, so that's where we are in terms of these trades. So this is all the stuff that I'm watching to get into. Some of them on leverage, some of them not on leverage, because there's a bunch of opportunities right now, and you can actually see that the market is shifting, right? But we do have to be a little bit conscious in terms of elections and things like that. And this is really hard to time, like when is the bottom, but when you cut it, and then if you cut this sort of long trades, this trade we might get it stopped out on break even, that's fine, and then we keep trading, or we might, if this aligns with the bull run and this thing never stops, the potential of Mantle, let me just show you what it could be. The potential of Say, let me show you what it could be, right? So we got position around here. Now our stop loss is right here. Now this thing looks safe. Can we stop this out? Yes, definitely. But this could continue, go on and on and on and on forever. In terms of managing this trade, I might get a little bit more profit around here if we get it right around the 60 cents area, give or take. Bank a little bit more profit. Another thing that you can do is move your stop loss up and then be risk-free completely. But the fact of actually taking profits is that it's going to allow you to start taking more trades as well. Okay, so we'll be taking more trades as this thing goes. Okay, now things that I'm really interested in this week. Okay, it is which, by the way, how many people actually took the Say trade? Just want to know in the chat. If you are in it, that's great. If you're not, that's great either. 2, I'm no problem.
These charts look like that altcoin market cap chart with that breakout stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So we now we can still get some bottoms on some tokens. I'm gonna highlight those, and the ones that know we might just start getting breakout trades and things like that, right? But still, I think it's gonna be a little bit volatile for the next couple of months, especially elections coming in. But if if you do leverage, please size accordingly. Make sure you know how to handle that correctly. So perfect. So FTM, I'm looking to get into FTM. I missed completely the whole run. Obviously, you cannot actually take every single one. I wouldn't mind actually start buying on spot right now. However, now it looks that if we look at Bitcoin, let me show you from what I'm seeing in terms of how do I time the entries. So this is Bitcoin on 30-minute, on 4 hours, right? So it looks, so the first, have you seen this reaction of the 65 sort of level, right? So on the 65 level, try to break, and then open interest is all gave up and bang, sort of dropped a little bit, right? Now, we sort of looking at something very similar around this level, the 64. The fact that I'm not seeing anything going above this in this initial pool might suggest that we might have a little bit of people actually even shorting here, actually taking some profits here. You can actually see that the open interest is not there yet. So I'm not keen to start new positions on leverage right now until I see a little bit more evidence of that. But that doesn't mean that you can start getting on spot and start doing good buys on things that might lead the way in the next sort of bull run, right? So things like FTM. So really watching this one to get into it. So this is a very interesting level where we at with FTM. So if you have a look, like you can actually see it from that perspective. So this is the daily, by the way. You can see how this level, the 65, the 62 cents level sort of holds. And now we are just sort of above of it. So this could be a really, really good either place to get in. Even a good leverage play could be from here and stop loss around here. Very, very, very small risk reward in terms of leverage trade. But for me, at this stage, FDN could be a really good spot hold for long term. It's not, I wouldn't do a leverage yet on this one because it looks like it could actually retrace all the way back here easily, right? So obviously have that in mind when you actually do leverage. But I do like it from the spot perspective. So Aave, Aave is actually the best performer right now. He sort of start breaking the all-time high, so I wouldn't mind entering another spot position here. I wouldn't do leverage on this one either. Things that I might start doing leverage will be this stuff that are really, really low, beaten down, volatility is low, is high risk, high reward, so to speak. So I'm looking at Sept very closely. Sept does have news in terms of that is going to get listed on Coinbase. So that could be a catalyst for this one to start going up at least to the listing price, which is at the 21 cents. So this could be the type of place that I'll be looking to get into sort of leverage, right? Because it does have a, like if CK doesn't work, you have a really good invalidation or really good stop loss either around this area or this area, and then that's it. But if the thesis work in terms of the project or if it get listed or whatever, it does have a really good upside, right? So I'm looking for this one in particular. I'm looking for Blast as well. So Blast, we are on Blast on spot, by the way. We bought around here, but I'm looking to actually either add on spot on this one or actually get into some leverage on this one. Now, I want to talk about these two in particular, because I've been talking about Tau for a while. And Tau, I completely missed it. You can start buying Tau now. I think Tau is not going anywhere. Tau was actually, I was wanting to get some spot backs around here, but yeah, this keeping track to me sure is too much thing going on. But Tau could be a really, really good opportunity to get into the spot. I wouldn't do this on leverage. But this one would lead the way. There is a lot of stuff in infrastructure that Tau is doing. But with that being said, with now that I'm looking at Tau, I'm going to be looking to find stuff that works on the ecosystem that it could provide us that are really long-term or medium-term opportunities, right? So things like SUI, and this is kind of what I want you to think about in terms of maybe capitalizing the market. Because if you look at SUI and you start buying here, it might be a good retracement, but then you can get stuck on this trade. But good things could be like, say that's in the back of SUI that you can actually get appreciating value and go right on that one. Another one that I'm looking on the same ecosystem is this one, Cetus. So Cetus, it is whenever you buy anything on SUI, right, on the like meme coins or anything on the, you need to go through a DeFi, you need to go through an exchange, through a DeFi exchange in order to do it. And Cetus is the biggest one on SUI. So with that being said, with that narrative, with that catalyst, if SUI keeps continuing going up, I think Cetus could be a really, really good play. It's already like I was waiting for this one to pull back, but it's doesn't look that it's happening. But on any pullback, I'll definitely buy this one. This one will have perhaps better appreciation than SUI in the short term. So I'm looking at that one very closely. I'm looking at order, being really a good fan of order for a while. So order already start pulling back. So I think this could provide us with perhaps a really good leverage play on this one. However, bear in mind that with order, it's a pretty new coin. So it's highly speculative in a way. But in terms of safest things, you can think like DYDX, ARB, those are layer ones that actually, you might start coming back slowly but surely. And this could be like really good bottoms, as you can see, especially DYDX and of RB, they look very, very similar. But ARB seems to be the first one that is breaking up. So definitely sort of break into that structure and Bitcoin continues to go up and things like that. These ones could actually appreciate in value quite rapidly. So yeah, man, a lot of interesting opportunities happening in the market. So yeah, you have to make sure that split your portfolios correctly. How much money you're gonna do in spot, how much money if you do in leverage, or how much money you're gonna do in memes. Yeah, someone asked me about the blob. So blob, by the way, if this is a meme token that is on SUI. Okay, so this is sort of the same thesis of all this new meme stuff that actually launching the strongest network. It might have a really, really good potential to the upside. So we bought around here, it went down, and this is going to be very volatile, but it's looking good. It's still looking good to enter if you haven't entered. By the way, I made a mistake on the video. I put an extra zero on it, but then this is where our entry. So it's still a good price to enter. By the way, I didn't go all in completely. I might add as I go up or as I go down. But this one might have a really good potential in terms of what happened in the market. So yeah, I really like what is looking. Cautious as always, but then there might be a really good place coming in this week. So that's what I have. Oh, Arrow. Yeah. Todd, thanks, mate. Let's talk about Arrow, because Arrow is the same play as Cetus in a way. So Cetus is the gateway for SUI. Arrow, well, anyway, however you guys want to pronounce this, is the gateway or the DeFi exchange for the base tokens, for any base memes or any base stuff. Arrow is going to, it is the DeFi exchange that you go through. So this one could get really, really strong, to be honest, especially if base keeps getting stronger. So base doesn't have a token in itself. Okay. So this could be sort of the, sorry. Dogs. Sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them. Anyway, so Arrow could be the gateway for base. So if the base change could continue getting strong, I think this will be the play to be in on Arrow. You can start holding spot on this one, but it doesn't look bad for a leverage trade, right? I will wait to see what happens today with Bitcoin, and and essentially in terms of all the new projects that we are in, everything is tracking well. So Drift is going well. I'm going to talk about Drift because let's have a look at Drift. So I know a lot of people are in Drift as well. So I took this trade. It's been a while, but it's looking good. I'm very cautious about Drift. There could be a dump coming in, so you might, I'm looking very closely to how this works. However, in terms of narrative, in terms of what they're doing, I think they're doing a lot of funny things with the elections and stuff like that that people are capitalizing on, the bets and things like that you can do, and so on. And so I think this could be a really good play. At least let's see how it goes until if we're able to get at least the one, I start backing some profits. That would be a bad idea, and just hold the rest to see how that's go. So yeah. That's it, guys. I think that's what I have. It's going to be very hectic this week. It's a lot of stuff, so it's hard to sort of pinpoint where you allocate the capital. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. Oh, H&T. Yeah, someone just mentioned H&T. H&T is looking great, man. Like honestly, H&T is looking fantastically well. I didn't buy it. I was going to buy it around here, but I'm just looking into where, like, think about the portfolio. You need to either hold some stuff that is going to capitalize in value and some things that are high risk, high rewards that it could give you the best returns for your money as well. This one is one of the safest, I think. Yeah, H&T is actually holding pretty well. So this wouldn't be a bad idea to start doing spot on this one. But yeah, hard to sort of narrow things down. That's kind of the challenge, especially when the bull run comes. You want to buy everything technically, right? You feel like, oh, I'm missing out, everything's going up. So yeah, we'll have to be selective in stuff that we're going to buy. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Here's a Dex screener one that's just in the chat there, Maurizio. This come from Tim. I think Tim's made some good money on a pump with this. It's got a crazy low market cap. I think
Let's have a look.
About, yeah, look, the market.
Wow, look at this. Yeah, interesting.
10 million, it's pretty small. Is there a Tim, just checking with you, were you bringing this to our attention, or is there something specific that you wanted to ask Maurizio over it, or just get his general thoughts? It's that market cap that makes me like,
Yeah, exactly. Especially with this sort of rapid appreciation in things. So obviously we'll have to do a little bit more research. So this is seems like it's another meme, Solana stuff. Yeah, I will check it out to see. Yeah, we'll do a little bit more research in terms of price action. Looks pretty okay now in terms that actually broke this high. Let's see how it holds. If people start selling around this, don't, you know what I mean? Like, but then you do have like if we, yeah, look at this behavior, sort of like pumps, dumps, pumps, dumps, pumps, dumps. So interesting. So I don't, it's not, the price action is not as clean. In terms of price action, you want to see something that is quite organic, right? People buying, selling, people buying, selling, people buying, selling, and they're talking appreciation for a long-term sort of thing. for a short-term sort of bump might be a good idea, but not sure about the longer term aspect of these things. But yeah, I'll need to start doing some more research on this one.
Nice. And I think I see a couple of questions about ENA. I think one was made specifically asking about the ENA airdrop, and then the next one
Yes.
just says ENA. So maybe they're asking about, maybe they're asking two questions, one about the price
Sure.
and one about the airdrop.
Let's have a look at the price action. Yeah, Ina, lovely Ina. We're still in it. We're still staking, and there are some airdrops already sort of going. So I can do a deep dive pro during the week on how you guys can claim it because it's already out there. And they, it's Ina right here.
It's the video from May the 5th. This is the video that you did on ENA and staking and everything. So that's in the chat. So whoever asked the ENA question, definitely go and watch that.
So yeah, I'll do a deep dive because they already did the snapshot, and I know they already. I haven't claimed mine, to be honest. I'm sort of waiting to see. You can actually claim it at Sell It if you really want to, but I'm waiting to see in terms of the appreciation of the token itself. The fact that this is really beaten down, and the fact that this is actually, if you look for this perspective, right, is now changing hands. Maybe everybody that already sold, and ENA is still alive. Is the mechanism of the USDE, which is used on Bybit. So I don't think that this is gonna die. I could be completely wrong. But then this one could have a potential to the upside, especially if the bull market comes in. So I'm still holding this one based on that. So I haven't sold any airdrops, but they do already had. I know they already released the new airdrop. So I'll do a deep dive during the week on how to claim it for people that actually were part of it.
I think the last one is Phantom. That's FTM, isn't it? Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phantom. Yeah, I was talking about Phantom. Yeah, just now, and yeah, Phantom. We're not in Phantom yet. Where is my list? Okay. Yeah, we're not in Phantom yet, but I wouldn't mind to start buying, to be honest, especially a spot. I wouldn't do leverage yet, to be honest, but I would definitely buy spot. Yeah, I'll definitely start doing a position of it there. Yeah, it looks fantastically fine. Like from everything that is being going on with Phantom. So Phantom is going to rebrand and things are happening, and so it could be really a good catalyst. I'm just waiting to see if I am able to maybe get a little bit of better price. I was actually waiting for a pullback. Everything seemed to be a little bit towards the upside. A pullback might come this week, and these are my favorites. In terms, if I get pullbacks, I'll definitely be buying all the stuff, right? Nia, I'll definitely be buying. Tau, I'll definitely be buying. Arrow, definitely be buying. So this is sort of the list that I have there in case if we have a pullback, I'll definitely jump in and buy that. Those are my picks. You know what I mean? Those are great picks for me for longer sort of time frames things. So yeah.
Fantastic, Maurizio. So just as a reminder then, if you've enjoyed this morning and you're interested in these coins that Maurizio is looking at, well, he produces a video every day of the week, and that video is usually, 15 minutes of the shortest kind of time, where he goes through the coins, he tells you what he's looking at. So it really is worth watching those videos. And look, if you're really short of time, you can play those videos at a faster speed. You can also search the transcript as well. So if you were to open up the video and then search the transcript for the coin that you're interested in, Phantom, you just put those words in, and then if Maurizio says the word Phantom in the video, then you can jump straight to that portion of the video, so you don't have to just sit and go through it. I'm pretty certain that I've put that transcript jump in video in the welcome post. if you've got more time and you're more interested in absorbing what Mauricio says every day, then just watch those videos and really get into them. And if you've got questions about the video, then ask them in the group. Awesome. Anything final from you, Maurizio? I think we've exhausted.
No, I think it's gonna be very hectic this week, guys. So yeah, I think I'm very excited to let's see what happens. And yeah, it's gonna be very exciting way to trade this new quarter. So let's see how it goes.
All right then. Thanks everyone. Ta-da.
All right, guys.